Hey everybody, as I mentioned, oh by the way, got my Texas Rangers cap on in preparation for tomorrow's season opener. Go Rangers, maybe this will be the year. As I mentioned in a video a week or so ago, I had some updates about the property taxes, and so I'm just going to do a little quick overview of that information, and then I will also put some links into my YouTube video. So, in essence, the Texas property tax system is made up of these groups. The reason we're talking today is that if you are a property owner, then you are part of that tax system. And how are you a part of that tax system? Well, number one, you pay your taxes. Either you write a check or your mortgage company writes a check to the county, city, um, college, community college, and school district. The second way that you're a part of that as a property owner is that you have the ability to fight and or appeal your taxes, your property tax value. In fact, the county tax assessor that spoke to us said he highly recommends that everybody does it. He is not a person, the tax assessor is not the person who sets the taxes, whereas they're the ones who just collect it. And so his recommendation is to fight it. I've done that on my own, and it was a pretty lengthy process. And then last year when I did it, I looked and found that most of my neighbors' tax rates were their value was higher than mine, so I decided to let it go. At any rate, you are a vital part of the property tax system, and like I said, they encourage you to fight it. So I'm going to give you some links, and I'm going to click on these. And the first one will take you to a website. There's a whole lot of information on here all down the bottom that I think is important for you to read. But the biggest thing is going back up to the top is to say, I'm going to find my county's website. So I'm going to move my screen. And because I am in Dallas County, we are in Dallas County. You click search, click on Dallas County, going to load up. So the first thing that I want you to see here is that you can search for your property based upon ID, owner name, street number, street name, street number. And the thing to note is like when I put my address in, it brings up everybody that has a similar type of street number and a similar type of street name. So you'll have to scroll through that. And then what it does is it breaks out what your property taxes are for this for right now. And so let me go back to my screen. So we did that, did that, did that. And so what it does is, like I said, is that it um, gives you this breakdown of the various tax information. The second thing that I think is important to see is that up here at the top, I don't know if y'all can see it. See if I can minimize that. You can subscribe to receive notice of estimated taxes. And so when you click on that, you'll enter your email address. And then the second thing is to click for the Dallas County Appraisal District website. And so when you do that, then you're able to go to that. This first link was more about just the state, and the second one takes you to the actual Dallas County or whatever county you're in. And I'll show you that in just a second. Second link I want you to take a look at is this one. There is a whole lot of information on here that you may, on a boring day, you want to go to sleep, take a look at. The one that I think is most interesting is this one called Truth and Taxation Basic Flyers, Basic Flyer. And when we do that, it's going to open up into all this kind of information about taxation. Okay. The second link is important dates. And when we click on that, we're going to get this document. And so the reason this is important is that Dallas tax assessors are required to send out your tax values by the first or a date soon thereafter as practicable. Practical. Can't even pronounce that. That's important because we all know how our U.S. mail operates. You may get something, you may not get something. Not getting U.S. mail, not being notified via U.S. mail of your tax rate and your taxable value is not an excuse to not know what your tax rate is. And that's why it's important to go to the county website to see what your tax rate is. The second thing that's important on here is that in August and September, the taxing units are going to start adopting their budgets. And school districts, the various taxing entities have to post that they're holding a meeting to discuss that tax rate. If we don't go to those meetings and if we don't tell them our opinions, then they go on and make any decisions that they want to make. So they make their decisions about the tax rates, then they give it to the tax assessor, and they mail out the bills, and it's a done deal. So I know all of our time is busy, but I encourage you to pay attention to your taxing entities, and if you have an opportunity, go attend their meetings. The third website is Dallas County Appraisal District. And so the reason I linked this one here is just because maybe you don't live in Dallas County. So you can click on the other links here for your county. Okay. And so when you click on the Dallas County one, you're going to get this information. The headline notes that it says Dallas County 2025 appraisal notices will be mailed by April 15th. And then the the protest deadline is May 15th. So as I said at the outset, tax assessors recommends that you appeal. Pay attention to these dates. And if you want to get some information about what your house values are looking like, what your neighborhood is going for, I can do a CMA for you pretty quickly. So I'm going to show you what that looks like. We go to Dallas County, click on that. I'm going to go over here to search appraisals. You can search by owner name, account number, street address, business name, map. So you just put in account number or street address, and you can select whatever it is that you want to do. When you get there, you want to pay attention to, do you have a homestead exemption? Dallas County tax assessor said that periodically they'll review them. If you are a person who's maybe bought a vacation home somewhere else in the state or bought a rental home, investor property, whatever, they start looking at it going, hold on a second, we don't know which one of these is the homestead exemption. And so they may remove it, and you don't know that they removed it until you get the tax bill. So it's important to look up your address, verify that you have your homestead exemption. And then secondly, if you are about to turn 65 or over 65 already, pay attention to whether or not you have the over 65 tax exemption. And then the last link I'm going to provide is this is the Dallas County Clerk website. Property fraud alert is one of the biggest things that's going on. It doesn't take very much for somebody to show up at Dallas County courts and say, I own this particular house, and they file a piece of paper that says, I own it, and next thing you know, they're evicting you. So they recommend, and this Dallas County has this, I know Collin County does, and I'm sure all the other counties do. Click on property fraud alert. And then what you're going to do is say, I want to create a custom keyword alert. And so I'm going to sign in. I did that already, and I've already created an alert for me. But what you're going to do is say, create a property alert, enter in your name. Now there's going to be potentially a lot of people with your name. So you're going to scroll through until you find yours. Or secondly, and probably most importantly, is to do the one with your address, your property address. And again, there could be a lot of 100 belt lines in there if that were your address. And so you want to scroll through until you find your property and you say, I want to create a property alert for that. And that way, if somebody were to go to the county court and say that they own your property, you're going to get an alert. Property fraud alert is one of the biggest frauds that happens. And most of us, including me, didn't know anything about it. And guess what? I have an alert set up. So you're going to do that, create alerts, and then this kind of gives you about what is a property alert, how do you do that kind of stuff. So what do you need to do next? You're going to watch your mail or go to the Truth in Tax website or your county appraisal district to look for your estimated taxes, verify your exemptions, determine whether you're going to file an appeal for your taxes, set up a fraud alert, and lastly, call me, email me if you have any questions. Thank you so much. Holler if I can do something, and you all take care.